Hey everybody, this is Discord user Slappy White with Radish Digital. That's digital with a J, bringing you a special BPX break room. And today we have College 31. Last night, of course, was the Dutch auction, which included the special Bow promo card from the launch day bundle, along with a booster box. And it was a Dutch auction. And one of the people in the Discord chat I saw was College 31. Had a chance to meet College 31 in Chicago year and a half ago, and reached out to him and said, "Hey, do you want to come on? Like, I'd love to hear the strategy, what you're planning on doing, how you feel about it, and maybe just general emotions." So he is here with us. And we also have BRFTW, who's also here on joining the stage in case he has any questions or thoughts he wants to add to College and what he's saying. So College, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, all right. Now I have to preface this: at the time of this recording, some people are watching this live, but at the time of this recording, of course, we just had the extra inventory sale at the Battle Arena where they had 700, I think it was 700 booster boxes and 70 launch day bundles. And were you successful in getting either of those?
I got 2 of the booster boxes.
Yeah, of course you did. Your luck just continue.
So I got 3 on the way.
Okay, and so Rob, you joined. We talked earlier, but you attempted. Did you get anything?
I did not. My early attempts to be the first got me banned on my desktop, so I had to use my phone.
All right. So, by the way, College, are you selling them right now? I think Rob and I might be. If you don't want them, no, I'm kidding. All right. So let's go back to last night. So the Dutch auction, and let me see if I remember. Originally, it was going to be a Power 195 Adley Rushman card. They switched it afterwards, and they said, "Hey, no, let's do it." And I can imagine the reason why they want to do it. Right? You have a whole new community coming in,
right, yeah.
And they want to give us benefits, but conversely, you don't want to show people joining in that there could be some that the system's rigged against them. And so, what's great, and they're going to learn about this community the way we have, is that this community is fair. And so they said, we'll still give something incredible to the OGs, but we're not going to give something that creates a competitive disadvantage to the new community. So instead, they replaced it with that special. Was it the launch day bundle, or was it just the Bow promo by itself?
It was the booster with the promo card or pack.
Okay. Just the pack. So it just was those 2 things. Now, as soon as you saw, when it originally was going to be Adley Rushman with his high school colors, were you planning on bidding on that in the Dutch auction?
I was planning on bidding on it. My thought on that was it was probably going to start too high and go before.
What did you think it was going to start at, by the way?
Well, which one?
The Adley Rushman.
I would figure it like I'm probably at least like 100,000 or potentially more. And actually, I thought that's what the booster box was going to start at as well.
Okay. And Rob, you're nodding your head. You're thinking for either of these, 100,000 is where you would have expected them to start, huh?
I just think that all of the Dutch auctions should start obnoxiously high to the point where nobody's really going to go, "Oh, I don't mind spending a little bit of extra BPX on it." It's got to be like, let this thing ride out for a couple of hours to drop down and create some of that tension of a Dutch auction.
Yeah, and that's actually what my thought was. I think BJam's talked about this in the chat too. He actually even put my exact numbers. Like my limit was 50,000. So when it opened at 60, I was like, well, that's not enough of a difference to stop me. So I just went in and did it.
Sure. And did you get just one, by the way?
Yeah, I just got one.
I don't know if we're talking to James Jr. here. And
right.
26 or so. All right. So you were, I agree. And in fact, with the Adley Rushman with the power, I would almost think that would start at 300,000.
Okay, yeah. Again, I mean, I definitely thought that was, I was interested in that, but definitely thought that it was going to be a little out of my price range.
Yeah.
And do you mind? I definitely think that now, because I think they'll learn from this for future auctions.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I was interested, but was going to see where that one landed.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than leaving money on the table. And I had to tease Eric and said, you guys screwed up. You didn't start high enough. Like, forget about like any complaints people had. Like, you hate like when you go to the boss for a raise and he goes, "Yeah, I'll give it to you," or she says, "Yeah, I'll give it to you." It's like,
right.
It's like, "Oh, I didn't ask for enough because they said yes to what I asked." And Yes, if they had started a little bit higher. And of course, the one thing we just have to remind people, like, I can respect people getting frustrated because they didn't have a chance in it. I can respect people who don't have enough BPX so they can't get it. But we do have to remember two things. One is that BlockPacks is a business. And number
Mhm.
two is this is not a necessity. This isn't housing, healthcare, food. This is a luxury item. And so their business, they're trying to make a profit. And so they're doing it as a Dutch auction. Is that I'd say they, through the geek pricing, right? We all got all these great products that we could order back then. And nobody was stopping anybody from ordering. Was there a limit, by the way? I can't remember on our geek boba pricing. Was there any limits on it? I don't think anyone approached it, but was there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember, and I wasn't even remotely close to it. Like for the pre-sale, I bought 5 of the hobby boxes,
Yep.
um, which was in right where where I could stretch to afford. Like I didn't have any doubts that they would bring a return.
Yep.
They bought a lot more than I expected, a lot
Sure.
pretty quickly, but and, like, even if I wanted to, like, at the time, just to have that, kind of money tied up for, a couple of months, I don't know that I would have gone more than that anyway,
Yeah.
which is why I've been kind of, trying to buy as many as I can now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I actually was at a local shop over the weekend. I'm in the Philadelphia area, and I drove about an hour to a spot just over the PA Maryland border, and then was able to pick up 2 booster boxes there. And talking to the guy in the shop, like he really had no idea what he had. Like he
Yep.
knew that they were selling well, but had no idea how what kind of prices that these things were fetching.
Yeah. And it's one of those things you were telling him after he rang you up. So that way he couldn't.
Actually, no, I was telling him right during the minute, and he actually even like when I went in and asked him about them, he even looked up the prices, all looked for comps off of eBay, saw they were going higher, and he still even gave me like $5 off a box. I bought 2
Yeah.
boxes,
That's
so
great.
it was a really cool store, and definitely they were great working with them.
Yeah, I'm lucky because here in New England is that I think I only have Lungta and Heisenberg to compete against, and they weren't driving around. So I hit 3 states. It's like that were available. I'm not sure if there's one available up in Maine, but I did hit New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. I happened to be taking a trip, so but it
Okay.
was great to actually get into the stores, and I agree with kind of your reaction. All right, so one of the things is your purpose for getting this. So was your purpose more for the booster box? Was it more for the Bow promo card? Was it you just want to spend some of your BPX? You want to convert it into something? What was your thinking and why were you and you switched from Adley to the new Dutch auction? So it sounds like you were wanting to either spend your BPX or you wanted to spend it on boba stuff. And where
Yeah, I mean, eventually starting to look at easier ways to turn the VPX into US dollars eventually. And this did like I see for me buying the physical cards is kind of an easy avenue to do that without having to deal with any exchanges or crypto or buying the
Yep.
token or whatever. And this is kind of something that I'm looking at like over time. So really, what my BPX, what I'm looking at is like I see this is my son's college fund, or at least part of it. So my son is 12 right now, so I got some time.
Yep.
So it's going to be kind of like a slow drip to kind of extract some value out of it, by at the same time still being invested and continue to do that. So
Yeah.
I wasn't looking to you know um, liquidate my entire BPX balance. It was just it was a for me it was a small a small percentage.
Sure.
And just for me, it just made sense. And I think it like the value. Like I saw a couple of people were talking about like the value. Since the box was MSRP at 150 or 145 or whatever, and this ended up going for 600 if you value the BPX at a cent.
Yep.
It's a little high, but I mean, from what we've seen, the value's in those boxes. You'll be able to break those and kind of
Sure.
sell off some pieces, which I've been able to do kind of along the way with kind of my hobby boxes.
Sure.
So basically it pays for itself, and I still have, a boatload of cards to hold on to for long-term
Yeah.
investments.
And now, college, do you mind me asking, and if you don't want to answer, completely understand, do you have under a million or over a million BPX? Are you a BPX millionaire?
I am with drips, I'm right there.
Okay, so but you mean the drips to come. So
Yes.
actually sitting in your account. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So just so people know kind of that thinking like, because I think a lot of people look at the people who bid on the Dutch auction last night and rightly or wrongly, people just always assume, the jams of the world have millions and millions of BPX. But people I know talking to jams is that he says it all the time in Discord, guys, I spend it. I spend my BPX. I'm not sitting on 30 million BPX. But I will say when you talk, for folks who don't know you well, is they might think like, well, does college have 10 million BPX? And he's like, whatever, it's 60,000.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it like I said, with my, the current trips I have, I'm right. Actually, I may have dipped under with this sale. I haven't checked.
Yeah.
And just to kind of give an idea too, from I've been kind of part of BPX since day one, like one of the Genesis members, and generally where I lie in,
Wait,
like,
wait, hold on. Can you, well, after come back to, I want you to explain what Genesis member is
yeah,
for the
yeah,
younger
yeah,
people.
yeah.
But sorry, finish your thought.
But yeah, for the on the HCH, the Hometown Heroes, for the digital drops, I usually sit between 25 and 40 on the leaderboard for each season. So I'm by no means, one of the big
Sure.
players, but I don't consider myself small either. I'm kind of
No,
like
you wouldn't
right in the
be.
middle.
And so what is can you clarify what Genesis is for people who don't know?
Yeah, I think they were, the people that bought into the first um, original block packs drop, which were the Raz tokens, you know, way was it 3 years ago or whenever that was, where all you got was basically the tokens, which were the raffles for, the big cards.
And is that different than there's the 100 too, right?
Yeah, I wasn't part of that. I think the 100 were the people that were at the first show,
Okay. All right.
which I was not there.
All
I
right. But
wasn't
you
there.
were there for the Genesis, the
Yeah, like
first.
basically, I bought into the first drop.
All right. And so college, I think, and also just a little bit of biographical information while we have it, because people like to know a little bit more about each member. In College 31, you have your name. How did you get your Discord name?
It's basically been my childhood nickname. So, um,
College?
yeah, my friends, I was called college since when I was early in school, it was clear I was going to college. So,
And you were born in 1931, so that's why you
no,
got that
31
one?
is that's my baseball number. So,
Okay.
got it.
Which player? I'm that's not a Yankee. So who's that?
No,
31.
that's me. That was my actual number.
Oh,
A couple
it's
years ago, I've been playing like adult baseball,
okay.
so that was my number for the past 20 years.
All right. Well, and I think so. After you secured, and then a final couple thoughts after and then we'll see if Rob has any questions. But after you secured it last night, and then you saw some of the talk, not to dwell on it, but the concerns that some people had about the Dutch auction. Um, Obviously, you're not this big spender. You're someone kind of middle of the road. You were able to secure it. So I think the best thing is, right, this was your BPX and you spent it. Do you have any regrets? Or looking back now, you're like, I'm glad I got that. I'm glad I went 10,000 BPX above my, what my plan was."
No, I mean, I think, yeah, I don't have a problem with taking some of it because I have been kind of hoarding the BPX, so I definitely need to spend some of it, and this is, a great way to do that. And as far like the value of the box, I mean, it's probably at the end of the day, it'll be pretty easy to recoup that. Not to say I'd go out and buy $600 boxes, but
Well, no, because 700 just sold in 30 seconds.
yeah, right.
So at a far lower price, but it shows you the demand. Yeah, I to your point, I agree with you. You have
Yeah.
no problem with the value there.
Yeah, and actually, well, one of the other things that I like to do, what I've done so far is like I have an eBay store where I kind of sell some of the singles, and I've been able to kind of sell some of the hits to try to recruit some of my spend, which I've been able to do that successfully so far. But I also am collecting as well, so I won't get into the the real high end of the the Apex decks or any of that, but I'm trying to put a couple of the the battle foil sets together. So I want to have a full battle foil set of the ice, fire and
Wow.
steel, and then kind of stretch goal is to get the battle foil glows, which that'll cost a little bit, but is probably
Yeah.
manageable. But to kind of go beyond that, it's a little too much for me. Like I can kind of justify spending the money when I can show some of the sales back to my wife, but like I showed her, a couple of the autos that I pulled, and she's like, "Okay, that's great. They're going for whatever. Are you actually going to sell them, or are you going to keep them?" So I'm trying to toe that line a little bit
Right,
and
right.
not
Yeah,
get
and
not
where
get
can
into
we
too much trouble.
you mentioned an eBay store. Where can we find you on eBay? What's your eBay store?
Actually, I don't know exactly what I can
Yep.
share the
Yeah, if you
URL for it.
if you put it in the private chat, I'll go ahead and put it in the general chat so folks watching can see that. And
Yeah,
Rob,
and this actually will be kind of uh, good because I actually tied in my Wonderproof into this.
into your eBay store.
Yeah, so one of the Wonderproofs that I own is my logo on the store. So
Oh, that's great. Even more reason why you should share it. And how many slabs, extra slabs, did you buy during the Wonder Claim proof?
um, I have 5 total. So I had ordered. I had pledged with 2 accounts. So I get 2 with each of those, and then I bought a separate one. So I have 5
Okay.
coming.
It only takes one. That's what Stefan 2121 says, right? It only takes
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Cloud. Rob, did you have any questions for college?
Going back to the Dutch auction, obviously, like you mentioned, like 60,000 BPX is valued quite a bit higher than the retail price of these boxes. So to me, that signals that you're bullish on the BPX value, the BPX, sorry, the opposite of bullish, that you believe that, to me, that sounds like you would believe that BPX is overpriced right now, but I don't think that's what you really think. I think you're just like, the boba stuff is that good of an investment.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple things. I think the boba is a good investment. I think all of it. I think the BPX is a good investment. I think the boba is a good investment. Um, what I want to take advantage of is kind of right now it's super hot and the prices are really they're crazy. So I want to balance having taking advantage of that, but at the same time um, keeping some in the back in case it really takes off. And
Sure.
that's like I've seen like I'm not really big into the crypto space, but I did like the first thing that I got into it was in Top Shot back in 2020 or whatever, and I kind of bought a bunch into that, and I had from a couple $100, I had an account that had gotten up to like 20, 30,000, and I didn't sell anything. I just held on to anything, and basically everything tanked. And didn't, I didn't lose money, but I didn't realize
You didn't
anything.
make 20,000.
So, like, what I'm trying to do is, ride that line is take some profit now while
Yep.
still being extremely bullish and holding on to, a large collection for later.
And
So,
pleasing your wife.
the way I see things is with the Dutch auction, I, and I really think that we're going to see more people come into the HTH side of things. How many is that's going to be with all the recent, Bojacks and stuff? I don't know, but I personally think that's going to have a positive impact on the price of BPX.
Definitely. I mean, I think definitely you can
I
see
think
like
sooner rather than later.
yeah, you've seen some of the like the chat in the general Discord on Boba where non BPX member, non BlockFax members are interested in and asking how to get the BPX um, to go in there. So I think you're definitely going to see that go up, especially if you end up with a few more whales that are interested in buying in that,
Sure.
and that's really their only way to get to those real high BPX levels is to kind of buy in at this point. I mean, you can only see that kind of going up, and hopefully that's what happens.
Rob, to your point too, I remember talking to somebody, I spoke to somebody in the last 12 hours who was successful, like college last night. And we were talking about the numbers, and I was saying that they put the valuation at 8 tenths of a penny, which is where it's trading at. And I used college. I use a penny. Right now, I think that's really where it's stable. I think
Mhm.
it's, whatever. Again, this isn't financial advice. I think it's going to move up, but for right now, it's a penny. But I will say, Rob, to your point is that's one of the reasons why the first Dutch auction, I think it was, when I was looking at that card, and I'm just like, I think it was 100, what was it, 130,000, 160, but I'm just thinking like that's $1,600, and I'm like, is the card worth 1,600? And here's the problem I have sometimes is that I don't think the Dutch auction last night. Um, I think that was a good use of money, but I'm looking for, when I'm on eBay, I want to get something that's a deal, something that an auction's ending at the wrong time and nobody's watching. Like
Yeah,
there's a couple of plays 1 through 16. I saw one that went for $17. I've tried, and they're all going for 30 or more, those 16 plays, but somebody get it for $17. Why did they get it for $17? Because the person ended it at 2:34 in the afternoon on a Wednesday.
yeah,
But to your point, Rob, is that yes, I'm very reticent to use it because we all say like it's going to really sting to know that you bought that. Hawkwind has his Dick Pole baseball card, that's worthless, and knowing that I spent $3,000 on a Dick Pole baseball card. It was only $30 right today, but it's going to be $3,000, and hopefully in a year. So I know some people say you can't think that way, but I mean, for people and again, not financial advice, but if you invest, right? Sure, the stock is only worth $5 today, but if it's worth 50 in a couple of years, it's like it's hard not to. If you have that investment mindset, it's hard not to look at these assets that way.
yeah.
So knowing that, like, you kind of see BPX as something that's going to increase in value over time, or at least that's what I took from your statement. Are you looking forward to the next Dutch auction?
I mean, I'm looking forward to it in that it's some excitement in in the Discord, and that definitely it's always better when something's going on. My thinking is that it's going to overcorrect, and it's going to be kind of out of my range, because I'm not, like I said, I'm willing to spend it, but I'm also trying to hoard it.
Yeah.
so so my guess is the next one's going to be a little higher, and it may not get down into my price level, but you never know. I mean, I'm definitely up for seeing what happens. So
Cool. All right, Rob. Anything else?
I'm just ready for Rip Day tomorrow.
Yeah. All right.
yeah, yeah, that was the other thing. I have to sell some of the stuff to pay for all of the HCH too, because there's an there's another drop coming in January, so they come fast and furious.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you in battle breaks. We'll be bringing that back. It's a little bit hard with the battle arena being dropped, the alpha edition, but I can't wait to get back to some battle breaks and be doing that soon. College, any final thoughts just about the Dutch auction you want to share, or battle arena? Anything?
No, I mean, I think it's just it's all of it is just a fun hobby, and it's great to be able to get a little bit of return and kind of stay in the game. And then also just wanted to thank you for everything you do for the community, and
Oh, thank
giving me this opportunity to kind of chat. And it's always good to get kind of get some thoughts, and kind of bounce ideas off each other around what's going on.
yeah.
So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming up. All right, well, speaking of bouncing ideas, I really appreciate Rob coming, BRFTW, for coming up on stage and chatting and spending some time. And of course, College 31 for taking some time out of his day. Congratulations to him for not only hitting that Dutch auction and having the understanding what a value that was, but also hitting it today. So having the lucky fingers, and there's a reason why they called him College as a kid, because the guy is smart. He knows what he's doing. All right, everybody, that's it for BPX Break Room. This is Discord user Slappy White with Radish Digital with a J. Thanks, everybody. Take care. See you next time. Oh, and I will say tomorrow we're going to be live with My Steelers, just to get to know with My Steelers, and that's going to be live at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific. So hope you'll join us then. All right, everybody, take care.